The man suddenly realized while drinking water. No matter how much mineral water he consumed, he only grew thirstier. The moment he spotted the lake ahead, his Adam's apple began bobbing violently. Before anyone could react, he sprinted toward the lake at breakneck speed, then plunged his entire head into the murky water, gulping frantically. Only when he regained consciousness and called for help did everyone realize something was wrong. They rushed over to rescue him, but to everyone's shock, the man had already transformed into a mummy-like husk. Jack, witnessing this horror, felt chills down his spine. He stumbled back home, but when he burst through his door, he found his wife and child desperately drinking from water jugs. Recalling the terrifying scene by the lake, he immediately snatched away his wife's cup to take his family to the hospital. But the death countdown had already begun. The next morning, Jack awoke to a devastating sight. And it wasn't just his family, similar bizarre incidents were happening across the nation. Rivers were filled with floating, bloated corpses. Whether this was a contagious disease or some unknown virus had officials deadlocked in emergency meetings. The only certainty was that all victims exhibited two extreme physiological responses before death: binge-eating behavior and pathological thirst. But no such case had ever been recorded in history. Time was running out, yet the investigation made no progress. Just as investigators hit a wall, a morning 911 call broke the silence. The caller reported his son had drowned in a bathtub. Police immediately rushed to the scene, but when they forced entry, they witnessed a horrifying sight. The deceased in the bathtub was still convulsing, dozens of worms crawling out from his eye sockets and nasal cavities. After careful examination by experts, these proved to be a parasitic horsehair worm. Typically, horsehair worms only infect locusts and grasshoppers. During reproductive periods, they stimulate the host's neural system, compelling the host to jump into water. Once the eggs hatch and mature, they tear through the host's internal organs until the host explodes and dies. But this was the first instance of horsehair worms infecting humans, and they were much larger than normal specimens. Experts therefore theorized this might be a mutated horsehair worm. As for why the mutation occurred, further research was needed. The television reports triggered nationwide panic. Hospitals were immediately overwhelmed, everyone wanted to be examined. But surgery couldn't remove these horsehair worms, they adhered to the host's intestines. Experts suggested trying antiparasitic medication, but before clinical trials could begin, a new case emerged. A girl who had taken antiparasitic medicine suddenly vomited yellow fluid, convulsed for 2 minutes and stopped breathing. This caused the medical system to collapse completely. Hospitals could only set up temporary quarantine areas, not knowing the worms possessed collective sensory capabilities. If one person had an attack, all carriers within 10 meters would simultaneously react. For his family's safety, Jack decided to flee the city with them. But his family was now extremely thirsty, all desperately craving water as if possessed. Clearly, they too had been infected by the worms. Unable to get water, they began frantically running toward the exit. For their own safety, he desperately held on to his out-of-control family members. Suddenly, there was the sound of shattering glass behind him. His daughter was trying to jump out the window.